prototype technology? You don't have to answer. I'm just speculating to myself.
No, it's
Very
well tested.
No, very well. He kind of writes down, scribbles, and then like tears the thing out and hands it to you and says, "Just show that to the clerk on duty tomorrow."
Well, thank you.
And he sort of nods. Says, "Will that be all?"
That is.
All right. Have a nice day.
You as well. Once we leave, so these people are going to totally try to bring us through the ringer.
Oh, of course, of course.
But I'm actually just quite curious because I do believe that one of the other, a couple of the other manufacturers that we've seen people using, they seem to get a lot of their equipment up this way. I believe one of them was called Wilkes. We've seen quite frequently. And I'd like to learn more about them if possible. I'm curious. Humans are a very interesting species.
Yes,
Or-
they're definitely interesting. An anomaly, every one of them.
Never know what you're gonna get.
No, so is there anything you'd like to check out while we're here?
No, not here. I don't believe so.
All right, well, should we just walk around town, see if there's anything interesting?
Yes.
What'd you say? You were looking for insects?
Yeah, but I mean, nothing that's gonna be in town.
So this goes outside and finds a bug for him.
There's a mosquito right here.
No, that's the. We've been through this. That's what the children find. Is just run of the mill.
Hey,
What's it?
those kids found a water sprite for you.
Yeah, they did. Okay, well, I mean, if you are looking to expand your research, we could definitely do that. I mean, we have a day to kill, so I would be up for maybe heading out into the desert and looking around a little bit. That could be fun. You like the dirt, right?
I do. I don't. The dirt isn't the worst.
So I just assume you're just looking for something to sort of kill time for the rest of the day. So you want to either wander around town or go on like a little wilderness hike.
Yeah, something along those lines. Because the thing is, like, the two things that Willow wants to do is she wants to get a kind of a look of the people and see kind of what they're like.
Yeah.
Just to see what the general population is like up this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, like we discussed before, that eventually becoming a manufacturer would be in the deck of cards.
Yeah.
And if this is a place where, you know, it would be a safer market than, like, you know, the straight up bandits that are down south, it would be good to know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Just kind of get the vibe.
Yep.
Rudge, do you want to go with Willow doing that?
Yep.
Or do you want to go look for bugs in the desert?
Bugs in the desert.
Oh, yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, if he wants to do bugs in the desert, I'd rather do that. So Willow would definitely just follow Rudge, if that's what he wants to do.
Not friggin', I do better work alone, but let's go.
He's up there, Willow's just stomping around.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be really quiet this time, I promise.
It's not a matter of quiet. It's a matter of destructive force.
Well, I am very good at destructive force. That's a problem.
know. I don't need destructive force in this endeavor. We need, delicacy and patience.
I'll have you know, I once sat and watched paint dry for 36 straight hours without blinking. Granted, that's been like 10 years since I've done that, but...
Also, you were thinking about other things.
Yeah, she was actually just building a diagram in her brain.
Yep. Old.
Yep.
mind palace.
How about this? I will just be on hand in case you get yourself bitten by one of these scary bug things. I will stay back and let you do your work.
Yeah, all right. That works.
All right. So I guess roll whatever the fuck bug skill you have. I can't remember what it's called.
What? What do you mean?
Like,
Like entomology?
yeah.
it's
Is it just
entomology.
entomology? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like entomological medicine or
Yeah, I
something.
have no
Might
idea.
be that. Give me a second. Entomological medicine. You nailed it.
How about perception?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's up to you. Perception
that
first.
skill.
All right. So
I'll
perception.
let you get your money's worth out of entomological medicine.
All right.
Yeah.
Take this. I got
How
a
did I do?
A 5?
5%.
Jesus. All right.
I've been looking
Walk
for
out-
bugs for decades.
You walk outside town getting bit by a scorpion.
Gotcha.
Ah, the rarest scorpion in the land.
Now to procure an anti-venom.
Okay. So you wander out into the just to kind of like walk around the desert, looking around. I don't know that much about bug environments, but I feel like the desert isn't super good for most bugs. Well, no, there's different kinds of bugs in the desert.
There's
like
all
the
sorts of
duckweed
bugs.
and stuff. Yeah.
And
No,
I bet if
you
you
don't get
looked up,
mosquitoes or anything like that.
I bet if
but-
you looked up desert insects, the fucking list is insane.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so you find a couple of like pretty cool beetles, like the sort of scarab beetle type things
All
that
right.
have very like sort of shiny metallic shells, and they're quite large.
Black widows, wolf spiders, various other spiders, tarantula hawk wasps, velvet ants.
Yeah, there's the spider that had the trapdoor spider. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's desert.
Yeah, desert termites, centipede, millipede. There are over 1,000 species of scorpions.
I just
Oh.
imagine you guys are walking through the desert and a massive trapdoor spider eats Willow
Yep.
and she's immune to their toxin, so it just keeps stabbing her and she's like, ow, ow, ow.
Ow.
Rudge, I found something.
You found one? All right, don't kill it. Yeah, and just so you know, velvet ants and tarantula hawk wasps, and yeah, those have some of the most painful bites in the planet. Like the pain index, they're two of the large. They're like 3 and 4.
I think, is it bullet ants that are the
Number
highest?
1. Yep.
Yeah. Also, what the fuck, a tarantula hawk wasp? Did they just like combine 3 horrible predators
Yeah.
into one thing?
Yeah, they're fucking evil looking too.
Yeah, Jesus, I looked them up. They look like the Satan. Oh, that's far too big.
Yeah.
that's-
Oh, and
That's too big.
they're monsters.
I don't like that.
Why is that like large finger size, like a palm of your hand size?
Yeah, no, that's not okay.
Yeah, you guys should check out this guy. The reason I know about these are Coyote
What's that?
Peterson. He's a guy that lets
Oh,
the
okay.
top 10 pain index things sting him. That's probably him right there.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that guy.
That's probably
Yeah,
him.
Same.
Yep, that is. That's on the colorful one with the forceps and the finger.
Oh yeah, he's sticking his freaking finger out to. God, what a psychopath.
Yeah.
Or masochist, I guess.
Well, he's
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it for views and for science. That way, you know,
I mean, he's definitely still a masochist.
yeah.
But yeah. All right, respect.
Yeah, so he's been bitten by all the top 10 strong, most painful things in the world, and they're awful. So if I can find those,
Any really nasty, terrible things?
yep, he accidentally got bit by a Gila monster, and there's no antidote
Oh,
for
they-
that. So
yeah,
he was like, oh fuck, he was actually freaking out about that one.
Those are cool lizards.
Yeah,
Okay, why are all the scary things like super big?
yeah. The bullet ants are pretty big too.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
Mhm.
Bigger and meaner.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's definitely like an uncomfortable size for insects where they're like still small enough to be like
Hard to find.
unpredictable and hard to find, but just like not okay levels of big.
There's
This is why we live in Minnesota.
yeah, where all that shit dies year round.
Yeah.
It's
Give me
like-
polar bears.
Yeah. It's like everyone, you know, like thinks, well, why would you live there? All right, let me ask you a question. What horrible thing do you have outside that can kill you? Well, we don't have those.
Yeah.
For the most part. No poisonous snakes, no poisonous bugs, no terrible things. We got mountain lions. That's about it.
Coyotes, man. Yeah, but like, when's the last time you heard someone get mauled by a mountain lion?
I mean,
Like,
without...
sure, it happens. But,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Anyways, I digress, or we digress.
We do, but it's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like we need to make a drone army based off of these things.
Yeah, I know. You kind of already have started.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what my wasp was based around.
yeah, those are pretty nasty. Yeah. Yeah, so you find a couple of like cool sort of scarab beetle type things. You find a couple of like probably some ants, yeah, that are blue.
Ooh.
They have sort of a they have sort of a like a steel blue sort of exoskeleton. And they are actually really small, like almost mite sized.
Oh. That's just a
But
little
there's just
guy.
like a lot of them in their little anthill. Like you sort of poke the anthill to see, you know, for science, and just like a wave of it's just like sort of almost metallic wave of blue that comes out. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Good for study and cataloging. But the real interesting anomalous thing you find
Is the fucking warrior wasp that's almost as big as your hand?
Yep.
Don't find anything of that. You
Okay.
find something a little bit less. Well, I'll let you be the judge if it's more or less disturbing. Probably more. So you look under. You find this like big flat rock and sort of lift it up to, you know, because bugs hide under rocks.
Yep.
And you see what you initially mistake as like the tatters of some kind of like dead animal that like crawled under there and died. But you realize instead there are some kind of like giant slug type things, probably about as long as your forearm.
Ooh.
And as you lift the rock up, they sort of like sprout these long, thin legs
What?
out underneath them and start like sort of sliding / skittering out in like unpredictable directions.
My God. All right.
But you are able to capture
Give me that.
some of them.
That's creepy and gross, and I need it.
But you get 3 of them.
This is the key to regeneration right here.
There's a couple of properties you notice right away upon initial diagnosis is that their slime seems to have a mild paralytic effect. Nothing super major, kind of like local anesthesia type thing. Which, you know, it's still pretty useful for surgery purposes.
Okay. And would you say they're slime?
they're mucus secretions.
Yep, has numbing. What would you say?
Yeah,
Anesthesia.
local
Cat.
anesthesia, basically.
My cat is like chewing on the end of my pencil.
Helping.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Always helping. Yeah, they also seem to be able to retain water quite well. Basically, they're kind of like camels of the insect world. They just retain a bunch, so they're basically just like giant water balloons with
Okay.
like spider legs.
That's. Oh man. All right. Yeah, we're gonna keep these. We're
Yep.
gonna roam around inside the the
God.
biome that we have.
Also, because you got 5%, you are able to determine they're not actually slugs. They're more similar to leeches than slugs, because they do seem to have a mouth suitable for latching on and sucking the blood from mammals and other creatures.
So they're like leeches?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna just write down
Giant spider leeches.
Yep, slugs, spider leeches.
The desert spider leech.
Terrible news. Okay, that's a that's a hell of a expedition into the bug world.
Yeah, you definitely lucked out with your little adventure. But yeah, that takes most of the rest of the day. So you sort of head back into town with that little mini adventure under your belt. Going back to the family and at the saloon.
Have you guys fight it?
Yeah.
On
So,
my
yeah, I'm
screen.
trying to think what they would be doing. Yeah, they're doing fine. They are probably okay to stay at the saloon here or go into your quarters.
I'll hit it here too.
They don't really mind either way. I mean, they don't have like money, so you'd have to pay to.
I'm pretty sure
to house them here, but
it's hard to.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to stay in the vehicle, they're absolutely welcome to. But if they prefer being on the ground, I get that too. And,
they do not seem to have any killer preference.
yeah, just come aboard the ship then. Why not?
All right.
It's free. There's food. You can hang out. Absolutely zero danger.
Yep.
And if there is danger, well, then it's probably destroying the town too. So.
Yeah. So you guys, is there anything you want to do like nighttime wise, or are you gonna just wait until the next morning and kind of kill time until your audience?
Now Willow will probably hang out on top of the robot and just kind of keep an eye on the town to see what it looks like at nighttime.
Yeah.
Just curious.
One thing you definitely notice is there's at around dusk, there's a large group of a very like different kind of person that comes up and sort of like goes through the saloon and like the various other places. They seem to be like workers. They're all very like sweaty and dirty. And
they're miners, right?
Yeah.
So we heard.
They all kind of like come through and like have a few drinks and like maybe eat some food at the saloon or some of the other places, and then kind of go filter back out into like the residential areas. Not really the partiers or anything like that, with like the mercenaries or the carabineers, who seem to be just like they don't really leave the main strip of the town, and they just kind of like pass through while they're in town. They're probably sitting at the saloon or loitering around their caravan. Which, by the way, there are a decent number of like parked vehicles, ranging anywhere from like glorified carts to APCs.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good to know that they are, you know, a bustling town of sorts. They have all types here.
For sure. Yeah, so the night passes by without any real incident, and in the morning you guys are, you know, free to do what you like. The town itself seems to be fairly sleepy in the morning. There's a couple of caravans that are like heading out and leaving in whichever direction or whatnot, but that's about it.
I mean, I think we'll just go get some breakfast.
You don't eat.
Well, the family.
All right.
I'll go get some more cactus water. That sounds yummy.
All right.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's like slightly different tasting water, you know?
Exactly. It's actually like cactus water is actually like really pure too,
Yeah.
because cactus is like absorb and like expel all the like the toxins.
Mhm. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Plus, of course, it's poisoned.
Oh, it's kind of weird, 'cause, like from Willow's perspective, because basically like a plant already like drank this water and then like spat it out.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're drinking cactus backwash.
Yes. That's really what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you go about your sort of morning routine, and the saloon is still pretty busy, but definitely a lot quieter than it was at night or noon. When you guys are like about finished with breakfast, the door opens and you see a small group of people that actually look fairly similar to your adopted family here, in terms of like dress and appearance.
Hey.
And they kind of like immediately move over to talk to the to Fazzy, but you see a couple of them kind of glance over towards you, and notably towards your companions.
I would definitely point them out if they didn't notice me. Like, is that potentially one of the tribes you might be able to talk to?
She sort of nods and says, "Oh, yes, I don't recognize any of them by face, but yes, they are Navajo." Excuse me, I'll go talk to them.
Okay, definitely keep a close eye on that.
Yeah. Yeah, so as the like seemingly the leader of this little group is talking to the to Fozzie, she sort of starts conversing with some of them in their which you presume is their native tongue, and she kind of like speaks a little bit and then like points back to you guys, and then says some more things, makes some gesture with her hand that you don't really recognize, and the man she's talking to sort of nods And then together they sort of come over to where you guys are. And he kind of looks at the two of you and says, "Thank you for helping our fellow tribespeople."
It was the least we could do, given the circumstance in which we met them.
It was easy.
There are many who give us little thought, especially those who are dressed in metal like you.
Oh yeah. By the way, Willow would have her helmet off again. She's eating and stuff. We are very different than most of the people we've met. Our goals are more to help people that are in need rather than worry too much about our own personal gain. We have other ways of getting ahead in life. We don't need to take advantage of those that need help.
He kind of like nods and says, that is a noble goal, noble purpose. This region will likely need help from good people like you. There are ill winds. Dark things in the shadows.
How can you tell the movements of the shadows?
And do you mean figuratively or literally?
Yeah.
He says literally. The Yanaha's tribe, they are not the only ones who have been attacked. We came across the aftermath of something similar.
Would you mind if we found somewhere to talk more private? Because there's shadows in our forest too.
Yeah.
He kind of nods and says, "We can speak at the foot of the Landstrider."
Perfect. Would you be willing to accept the woman and her children into your tribe or to aid them?
Nods and says, "They are strong. We should stick together."
I'll definitely pull the girl aside and make sure that's what she wants before.
She nods and says, "Yes, these are good people, and they have a safe place. I think."
I mean, as long as it's so safe you can be out here.
True, but the Landstrider, he says.
Yes.
So the man says, once our chief is finished talking to Fazi, we can go. It is only a little ways out from the town.
Sounds good.
Be right back.
The Landstrider does not like the smell of it here.
Understandable. Yeah, Will will just wait patiently.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't take too long. They seem to kind of exchange sort of a couple of things, little like trinkets.
Okay.
And the guy who's talking to Fozzie produces a handful of like small sort of like rabbit pelts, maybe.
Okay.
And in exchange, they get a couple bottles of some kind of alcohol. But the group of Navajo kind of come together with you and lead you out of the saloon. The guy who's talking to Fazi kind of looks at you and says, my name is Tahoma. I am chieftain of this tribe.
I am Willow, and this is my partner Rudge. We are, I guess you could say, we're the leader of a settlement to the southeast of here. We govern very hands off for the most part. We are explorers and, in general, looking to help people.
He kind of like nods, and you see him kind of like sort of mentally figuring that, and he says, you live beyond the singing forest.
Yes, we know the singing forest well. I'm assuming he's referring to the Saints' Kingdom.
Most likely.
Yeah. If you speak of the small folk.
Excuse
me. That is a dangerous place to travel.
They've become our friends. They found themselves in a bit of a troubled situation. We helped them out.
Yeah, you are good at making friends, it seems.
Yes,
that
well,
is, a rare gift.
We've made enough enemies as well, so it seems to balance itself out quite well. But as I said, they were in need of help, and we happened to be able to help them, so lucky for both sides.
Indeed.
But
do you need anything from us?
No, and in all honesty, we were primarily hoping that, one, we knew that she was going someplace safe after what her and her family had been through. And I wish to speak to you about these shadows that your tribe member mentioned. Our settlement recently moved further west than our normal home, and there seems to be these shadows, or a similar shadow within the forest around our new settlement. And it had been a source of concern before.
I have not seen them personally, but second-hand rumors from the few who contacted them. Yanaha here and her family, they seem to survive one of these attacks, although you did not see much, correct? And she kind of shakes her head and says, my eldest son, he was killed by them as we were fleeing, and my husband was hit as well, but he made it further. I did not see any other than they crawled and moved quickly from dark spot to dark spots. They came from nowhere, seemingly. And Tahoma says the attack site we encountered before seemed to suggest a similar thing. They appeared within the perimeter, and many of our tribes, that we have methods to detect such things. It is necessary to be alert and be able to flee. But these creatures were able to foil even those alarms.
That's terrible.
that are mystical in nature.
Is it a new thing that they're able to breach these alarms?
I have never seen something like this before.
Do you know how long ago this started?
We first found the wiped out tribe 2 weeks ago. And the one with Johanna, that's happened, and she says it was let's see, it would have been 5 or 6 days ago now.
Do you know if any of these encounters have happened elsewhere, or do they seem to be targeting you?
I don't
That's-
know. And they both sort of shake their head and says, "We have limited contact with others."
That makes sense. Hmm. Well, I don't have much more to ask these guys. Do you have anything, Rudge?
I mean, I don't know.
All right. Yeah. So as you guys are walking, or as you're talking, you're walking sort of out, and you now see their Landstrider, which is a giant tortoise.
Yeah.
Hey, ours too.
It's like it's a little bit bigger than your vehicle.
Nice.
So it's big.
Yeah.
Wow.
There is like a whole like little village basically like crammed onto its back.
All right, that's it, Rudge. We're disassembling this thing. We're building a new one.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just kind of like chilling there.
Oh my
eating a
god. Oh my god. Willow's totally gonna go try and talk to it. Like, I don't know if she could like restrain herself from going up and introducing herself. Does it talk? She asked the, Tahoma.
He kind of smiles and says, he talks in his own way, but cannot speak the tongue of human. The Landstrider is wise, though.
Willow will totally go up and just say hi. Like, knowing full well I cannot return. Or
It's
probably
kind of
I'd
just
barely
like
register
sort of
her.
looks down at you casually while like munching on a tree.
Hi, my name's Willow. Please don't eat me.
Yeah.
I'm not actually a tree. Yes,
give me a trust intimidate.
Yes, I'm technically vegetation, but 45. That'd be a success.
Okay. So as after it's finished like eating the tree and you're sort of like standing down below it, it kind of like slowly lifts its head down to sort of like look at you with one of its eyes.
That's awesome.
And you just see like its mouth sort of slowly move open as its like big little like tongue sort of like scrapes the rim of its beak a little bit as it just sort of like studies you, and then kind of like shifts a little bit and like raises its head back up.
She's like, "You're very impressive," as she walks away.
Yes.
Does he have a name? Or you just call, or is it just the Landstrider?
Yeah, it says the Landstrider has. They have names in their own way.
Makes
They
sense.
are not ones that are able to be translated to the speech of man.
That makes sense. I wouldn't expect anything else, but I just wanted to make sure that I am communicating in any way I can.
I think he is pleased with you.
And I am. He's very, very impressive.
That he is.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I am traveling in something of a similar design, but something you'd be far less appreciative of. Giant robot that looks like a turtle.
We saw the metal turtle thing, yes.
Yes, that's...
It is not bad for
yes,
metal.
Yeah, I was going to say, I imagine metal is not your preferred creation.
Just kind of like shrugs and says, it is useful, certainly, but Landstrider is wise. Metal things are...
Will's like, oh.
Him not knowing that's like a major diss to you.
Yep. Good times.
Yeah, so before you guys leave, he kind of says, one moment, and sort of like reaches to pull out a necklace. And it's kind of like... it looks sort of like a dream catcher type thing.
Okay.
Where it's that sort of like web, and in the middle there is a framed piece of what seems to be like a fossilized shell.
Okay.
And he says, a token of our gratitude. If you encounter any others of our tribes, they will be friends to you, should you show them this.
Oh, well, I appreciate it very much. I don't have anything that I could give you that has as much value as I'll put in this.
You have already done more than enough for us. And if you can find these dark things and defeat them, then you would have our eternal gratitude. But that is not something that I expect from any one person.
I mean, on a side note to that, if you could give me the general location of where these attacks took place, at the very least, I could look into it or think about looking into it.
The one we found was to the east.
Yeah, and then she was to the south, right?
And then... yeah, was... Let's see. We would have been like... here.
Okay.
That way. Yeah.
Well, I wish you well. Safe travels.
Likewise.
We're actually heading to the west, so I probably won't see you for a while, but I hope that we meet again.
Good luck. And good.
Same to you. If your people encounter any more danger, we will likely be stopping back to this town before we head back to our settlement, so...
As I said, we are isolated oftentimes, but if we can, we will send word.
Sounds Sounds good. By the way, there'll probably be like one of those situations where like Rudge is gonna have to like pull Willow away from staring at the giant turtle.
Yeah. What's Rudge think of the giant turtle?
Oh yes, it's amazing.
Take plenty of pictures.
Oh yes, pictures, video, samples.
Look around for some of its poop.
Nope, tissue sample.
Oh, tissue sample. Are you just gonna go up and poke it?
It's huge. It won't mind.
Nah, yeah, it definitely won't.
And so yes.
You like scrape off some of its like
Mhm.
some like skin flakes or whatever from its foot.
For science.
For
science.
science.
It is quite an impressive piece of megafauna. Definitely, I'm pretty sure that. Well, yeah, I wouldn't count the giant eel thing inside of the spinster's lair because that might not have even been real.
Right.
But yeah, pretty sure the biggest creature that you've seen on this planet thus far.
That's impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
Okay, so let's see here. I guess I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you want to talk to the marshal right now, or do you want to save that for next session?
Let's save it for next session so I can think of a few questions for him.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. Figure that will probably be a little bit longer than a 10-minute conversation.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
No.
I don't want to go too late. Just go in there. Hey, I'm going to sell you some stuff. You're going to give me a huge profit, and we're going to call it good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's
awesome.
where we'll leave it then for next time. And,
Yeah.
And next time you guys will talk to the marshal and then see where things go from there.
I'm assuming, as long as nothing crazy happens, we'll head on over to ours now.
Yep. Head out west.
Yep. See what happens to a kind of sand dune creature that tries to kill us along the way.
Yeah. Of course.
Obligatory giant, like tremor type creature.
Naturally. Well, I mean, the canyon worms, you've had a couple of those.
Oh, yeah, I suppose especially if we're going to the Grand Canyon, there's going to be the Grand Canyon worm.
The Grand Canyon worm, yes.
Those will be glorious.
Of course. All right,
Now,
nice.
are they going to be Grand Canyon worms or Grand Canyon worms?
Exactly.
I don't know. You'll have to go there to find out.
Well, fine.
And find out we shall.
Yes,
Yeah.
you will.
All right, nice. Yeah, it was actually kind of funny. The your fail and the random direction you went in. Had you hit like more of the stuff out there, you wouldn't have gone to that lovely city without going off course.
It all works out. Always.
Yep.
It never doesn't.
Perfection.
Every time.
Yeah, without fault.
Alright, so you guys excited for next week? Final session for God Game?
Oh, yeah.
Do some. What is the plan for
Okay,
that?
so basically, I'm in the process of writing up a I'm actually adding it to the Google Doc I shared with you guys, the God Game Part 3. Basically, we're just gonna have a chat session to discuss the finalities of everything.
Yeah.
At some point in time, me and you, Ben, should just do a short session to discuss what happened with Kenna. Kenna's the only one that disappeared, right? No?
Into the hole. Rock.
Yeah.
Rock did too.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we'll discuss that then too. I'll add that to the docket.
Yeah.
Because that's not as complicated as it sounds.
Being taken prisoner by the fucking Cthulhu jailer.
Yeah, it's a little. It's actually a little more cut and dry than you would think, primarily because of the origination of what you guys are now. So
Cool as shit.
yeah, basically, I mean, like the thing is, there's some benefits to being intermediate deities. So
Well, that better be.
yeah, I can throw more shit at you guys.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically, like on the Google Doc that I shared with you guys, I've already begun. I might edit the questions or modify them, but essentially, I want to know what your instructions are for your followers.
Yeah.
A lot of the ways, and like I said, I've written up the questions and stuff. And mostly, it's going to be just kind of figuring that stuff out because I'm going to have to influence future campaigns. So, like, you know,
It's always fun.
as your gods become passive and it's your followers being more involved in stuff, like like some of the big things is like the new species of wildlife that popped up on the Isle of Draconis, which is now accessible to the mainland. Like, how are your followers going to react to like half dragons, which is not a normal thing? So there's things like that.
Fun.
Like I said, the questions are already up on the document, and like I'm going to be modifying and editing it still. But it's
Like talk through those. Then.
Yep.
Same.
Yep.
And then maybe talk about the rest.
Yep. It shouldn't. I mean, like this is one of those things where it could take 5 minutes or it could take 2 hours, depending on.
Yeah.
But the general theme is to go this and then to talk about riffs.
Sounds good to me.
And, I mean, do you guys have any questions for me on this stuff? About any of it, whatever.
I mean, I think you and me talked about riffs before Mike came on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I have a pretty good idea of like the direction I want to take the followers of Kenna, I guess. So, should be able to figure things out.
Okay.
The general guidelines are, you know, like my religion edict or tenets or whatever.
Yeah. And that's exactly like a lot of the information I have from some of you guys in the terms of a Google Doc. So like a lot of it isn't like super, I need to talk to you guys about it, but there are some things like, well, like I said, the questions are up there so you can take a peek at them, and they're a little more specific than just generally what are your people doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're good on a lot of that.
Yep. Should be.
Yeah.
It'll be definitely a very different feel with the other game.
It'll be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah. So Mike. Yep. So Mike, the general idea right now so far that's kind of brimming around. We'll discuss it at length next week, but is you guys are effectively going to be playing generic nobodies unless you guys come up with a good backstory that fits into one of like the OCCs, the classes in Rifts. Right now, the idea is that you guys are going to be in one of the mega cities similar to the Coalition city of Chi-Town, which is like the big fortress city that has a big concrete city in the center.
Yep.
Followed by the suburbs, and then followed the shanty towns. And effectively, you guys are going to start off in like the worst area and try to work your way towards the better area.
Yeah. All right, cool, good.
Because like the idea is that like you guys are pretty much nobodies. So if you stay in the shanty town, you're dead. It's just a matter of time of when it happens.
Commence pack ratting.